Hi everyone, I'm 𝙂𝙪𝙚𝙛𝙧-𝙚𝙨. Today we are joined by clean living expert, healthy cook extraordinaire, Luke Hines, and best-selling author. He'll be cooking a recipe from his new cookbook, Guilt-Free Snacks, for us live tonight. Welcome, Luke.
Hey Amelia, and hello Booktopians. I'm super pumped to be joining you tonight.
We'll give everyone a few moments just to join this lovely live cooking demo. While we wait, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to elders past and present. Before you get started, Luke, could you tell us a little bit about what you're making and why it's a guilt-free snack?
Okay, so tonight is all about my no-fuss nachos. Now, they're no-fuss because they're so easy, anybody can do them, but they're guilt-free because they're suitable for anyone. They're gluten-free, dairy-free, refined sugar-free, plant-based, suitable for vegans, and I tell you what, the most important thing, delicious.
They are so exciting to me. I am a big nacho fan, love it, and obviously gluten-free and all the dietary requirements make it so easy. So can't wait to share that with everyone tonight. What we'll do next is we'll just wait a little bit longer. A few people are joining us, which is great to see. I bet you can't wait to cook along and watch the show. Without further ado, I'll hand over to Luke.
I'm so pumped, guys. Here, I'm still going to show you one of the easy and delicious recipes from this book. Now, there's sweet and savory recipes in here. And I've got to say, I have a bit of a sweet tooth, but I wanted to show you my favorite savory recipe tonight. And it is my no-fuss nachos. So they're really quick, they're really easy, but they're suitable for anyone, any lifestyle. So let's get into it. The first thing that I love about this recipe is that we swap out any processed or refined store-bought corn chips and we actually make our own. Now that's where the humble pumpkin comes into it. Now, you might want to use a Jack, a Kent, or a butternut. To be honest, even though in the book I talk about using a butternut, if you can get your hands on any pumpkin these days, use whatever one you can get. Now, I've got a beautiful Jack pumpkin here, which I've peeled today, and I've cut it into a little bit of a wedge. Now, what I want to do is I want to create a corn chip style, did I say a naughty word? A corn chip style shape. So what we do is we basically cut it into a wedge, much like that, and then with a really good quality sharp knife, you want to go into this side of the actual pumpkin, just like so, nice and thin. And what you'll end up with are these incredible pieces that almost replicate corn chips in themselves, just like that. Now, the ultimate goal is to get a really decent lot of these delicious kind of pumpkin chip-like shapes. Now, this is what we're looking for. We're looking to fill a bowl up just like so. Now, repeat that with the rest of your pumpkin. So I'm going to put these in here. And then, now, I don't want you to put this straight into the oven because, as you know, when we cook things like pumpkin or sweet potato, they contain a lot of moisture. So what happens is they can become quite wet and soggy. Now, there's one thing corn chips aren't, and that's wet and soggy. So I'm going to show you how to make these perfectly crispy each and every time. And, well, it comes down to a few simple ingredients, and this is those. So you want extra virgin olive oil, and you want to coat them really well with the extra virgin olive oil, okay? Then you want to get in there with your hand, and you want to really massage that around. Absolutely perfect, absolutely perfect. Get that coverage all over, and then once you've covered your your pumpkin chips with the olive oil, you then want to get the tapioca flour and some paprika, okay? So I'm going to get the tapioca flour and the paprika, and I'm going to put it into the bowl just like so. Now, this is what makes these pumpkin chips absolutely next level, because when you coat this really, really well, that creates almost a crust on the outside when they hit the oven and then when they start to bake, which is really, really exciting. So what we want to do is we want to get really good coverage, get your hand all the way in. That's looking absolutely fantastic. Now, once you've got coverage all over your pumpkin, you want to get a baking tray lined with baking paper, okay? Now, that makes sure that they don't stick to your tray, all right? We don't want our pumpkin sticking to the tray. So really, really simply, get your pumpkin, and then you want to lay it out just onto that tray like so. Now, have your oven preheating at about 200 degrees, which is going to be nice and hot. Because these are super thin, you want to blast them. You want to really blast them to get them extra crispy. Because again, this is the corn chip component of our delicious no-fuss nachos. So lay them out on your baking tray like so. And then what you want to do is you then want to line them up, get them in the oven, bake them in there, 200 degrees, giving them a turn halfway. Now, times will vary depending on the temperature of your oven, but you want them to be golden brown and crispy around the edges and making sure that there's no wet or soggy bits. Now, because of the magic of television, guys, I'm absolutely so pumped to say you don't have to wait for them to cook tonight, because here are some that I prepared earlier. So this is some of those chips right there. So they're crispy, they're delicious, they're golden brown, they're exactly what I was looking for. So I baked them off, but that isn't the end of our nachos. We need to pair them with a beautiful cheese, which we're going to make a vegan cashew cheese. We want an easy tomato salsa, and of course we want avocado in there as well. So let's talk about how we make a creamy cashew cheese. The first thing you want to do is you want to get your cashews. Now, with your cashews, guys, I've soaked these in some boiling water in the last kind of half an hour to 45 minutes. Now, the reason I boiled them, put them in the boiling water is so that they would become nice and moist and soft. That's because we are going to blitz these up to make a beautiful creamy cashew cheese. Now, what we want to do is we want to get a stick blender. You could use a single hand blender for this, a stick blender, or a large food processor, okay? And what you want to do in there is you want to add some filtered water, okay? And then you're going to add, with your filtered water, you're going to use your soaked cashews, just like so. Now, this is a fantastic recipe, really, really versatile, because it's got a beautiful tartness like sour cream, but it also spreads really well, like kind of like a creamy cream cheese. So it's really versatile. So if you're plant-based or want to eat more plants in your diet, or you've got a vegan friend coming over, this is a fantastic healthy alternative to regular cheese or sour cream that everybody can enjoy. So along with our soaked cashews, we've got that filtered water. And then what we want to do is we want to get some fresh lemon juice, just like so. So chop some lemons and then get that fresh lemon juice in there. Now, the more lemon juice you get in there, the more tart this is going to be. So if you like that delicious kind of sour cream tart flavor that you usually get on top of your nachos, then really load it up with the lemon, because that's going to give you that same mouthfeel. And it really balances off nicely with the creamy and fattiness of the avocado. Now, good quality salt goes a long way when you're cooking in the kitchen. So I'm going to be salting the whole way through here, brings out the flavor in our food, really elevates it to the next level. So we're going to get our salt in there just like so. And then, of course, with this cashew cheese that we're making here, we're going to use just a little dash of extra virgin olive oil. That adds a beautiful fattiness to that, which is really lovely, helps the consistency as well. Now, we're going to get the lid on here. All things going good, we're going to turn on, I think. All right, give that a good flip. Now, what you're looking for is a beautiful, smooth, creamy cashew cheese. I'm going to give it another 10 or 15 seconds for it to do its thing. Oh, this is looking fantastic, guys. Really, really good. All right, I'm absolutely loving it. So that, to me, is looking really, really good. So we've got our cashew cheese right there. That can set aside. You can store that in a fridge for up to 7 days if you don't get through all of it with your no-fuss nachos. So you can use it in other recipes or make it in bulk and use it for the week ahead. It's fantastic for meal prep. So we'll set our cashew cheese aside. Let's talk about the tomato salsa. We're going to keep it really simple. We're going to go with fresh diced tomatoes. And what I do with the tomatoes, I just halve them initially. Then when I go through that half, I run the knife across again, just on the top, just like this. So basically, I run the knife along there so that we get a beautiful even dice as we go through. So I'm going to cut that over the top now. And then I'm going to go again around on the cross stitch of the other side, okay? So just crossing over and we'll get nice big diced pieces of tomato. Now in with that tomato, we are just going to use a good pinch of salt, That's looking absolutely perfect. A drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. And then to elevate that to the next level before serving, we'll add some fresh herbs. So hang tight. Some fresh herbs come to that, but I'm keeping them fresh. Now, I don't know if you can tell with the singlet, where I live is incredibly humid up in Queensland, well, on the border of Queensland, and it is warm in today's kitchen. So I've got the herbs hanging in the fridge so that they stay nice and fresh and they don't wilt in this warmth. So we're going to bring them out in a moment. Now let's talk about our avocado element. Now this is awesome. All you need to do is start with a couple of avocados. Now I've diced these up and I've added some fresh lime juice. Now lime juice does two things. It adds a delicious tartness to the actual avocado mixture, but what it also does is it prevents it from oxidizing. So when an avocado is sliced and exposed to room temperature, it oxidizes. And what that means is it goes brown, and it can go brown really quickly, especially when the weather's humid. So cut a couple of limes up and then get your avocado, give it a really good squeeze of that lime juice, and you'll have no risk of that avocado going brown. Plus, if your avocado isn't quite ripe, what that lime juice, the acid in the lime juice can do is actually soften it, making it really, really easy to work with. So these were a little bit firm this morning, but the way supermarket shelves are looking these days, beggars can't be choosers when it comes to fresh produce. So I grabbed the firm avocados, but what I've done is I've had them soaking in some lime juice throughout the day, and they have become really soft, moist, and delicious, ready to use. So as a little bit of a recap, guys, let's talk about the elements. What we've done is we've made handmade pumpkin corn chips from scratch right here. They're golden brown, they're crispy, they're crunchy, and I tell you what, you can't get better than that. They're so good, they're so crispy that you can actually dip into the nachos ingredients. So once you've baked them, what I like to do, I actually like to serve the nachos in the big tray that I've made them in. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create the dish just like so. So I have a bed of these delicious corn chips. Now we've got our three elements. We've got our cashew cheese, which we're going to dollop onto the top of the nachos. I'm going to show you this. Now, remember, simple. Soaked cashews right here, lemon juice, good quality salt, ready to rock and roll. Now, so I've got the delicious cashew cheese. Now that there is, oh, hello, a little bit premature. What I want to do is I like to dollop this in different areas across the platter. Now, the reason I like to plate it up like this is because it's something that you can put in the middle of the table for the whole friends and family to enjoy. And you'll dig in, get your hand in there, and it's absolutely perfect. So I start with a base of this delicious, smooth and creamy cashew cheese. So get a couple of tablespoon dollops on here as you do, which is looking really, really delicious, just like so. Now, one more dollop up the corner here, make a little bit of space for that one. Then, on top of that, I go with the tomato, and we're going to add some fresh herbs to this, but I go with the tomato initially, and we're just going to go around here, and I tell you, when you see this plated up, you are going to be like, oh, I'm going to do this for dinner tonight, or I'm going to have it on the table for my next event that I'm hosting at home when your friends come over. It's absolutely perfect. So I don't go right on top, because what I want to do is I want to still see some of that creamy cashew cheese on top when I look overhead, okay? So we've got some tomato kind of falling off the side, all right? So we're going to plate that tomato up just like so. Remember, just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, some fresh citrus. You really can't go wrong with this recipe. A lot of people, when they buy a cookbook, they can feel really, I don't know, daunted or nervous that the recipes that they want to make are going to need hundreds of different ingredients and fancy ingredients that you can't source. But I tell you what, not this book, because I like to keep it simple. I let the fresh produce do the talking. So I want to get a little bit more of this tomato on here, and then my best bit, the avocado. And then you can't let me forget to go to the fridge and get the fresh herbs, because it's boiling here. I don't want them to wilt. So don't let me forget. I want you to use the comment section and say, don't forget the herbs, Lukey. All right, so this is the avocado mixture. Now, the avocado is also got a little bit of heat in there, because what we do is we add some chili flakes on top of the avocado when we've plated it up. So go around the edges, any gaps. where you want to get some avocado, any kind of where you can see that there's no chips, what you do is you just get some of the avocado in there as well. Oh, this is looking so good. Now, guys, you don't have long to enter the competition. You have literally got 5 minutes to get your comment in to win a signed one of the 5 copies of Guilt-Free Snacks. Now, that is looking perfect. Now, I don't know if you can see so far. Give you a little bit of a sneak peek. It's coming along really beautifully, but we're not finished yet. So what we want to do here to bring the dish together, to make it really sing, is we want to do some fresh chili flakes across our ingredients, just like so. Get some fresh chili flakes. And I told you that we got to add some fresh herbs to bring it to life. Now, if you are wondering how someone who is 6'3" is currently at their bench cooking, that is because I have been cooking on a stool, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly right. I'm on a stool. I'm going to go to the fridge. Hang tight. Don't you go anywhere, my friends. All right, here are some herbs that we prepared earlier. So I've got some fresh coriander. Now, if you're not a fan of coriander, that's fine. You can sub it out for flat leaf parsley. It works absolutely beautifully as well. Now, I find when you dice, sometimes when you chop your herbs, you can overdo it and you can mush them up a little bit and they lose their color and their vibrance. So what I like to do is I like to actually keep them fairly kind of whole in their small little sprigs, just like so. So I don't get any, I don't make it too heavy with the thicker roots, but I like to do some of the small, finer end pieces and keep them whole on there. Really elevates the look and feel of the dish, but it also adds a lovely flavor when you get that with the coriander or the flat leaf parsley. So let me get a few more just on top, and we are going to do a bit of a reveal. So with these nachos, guys, they're gluten-free, dairy-free, refined sugar-free. They're low-carb, keto-friendly, and much like the recipes in this book, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a whole bunch of recipes in here which are healthier versions of your favorite sweet and savory snacks. So we've got burgers, we've got pizzas, we've got popcorn chicken, we got my healthy take on a Mars bar, the wagon wheel. There is, if you crave something and you have a favorite kind of sweet tooth or something that's a little bit cheeky when it comes to savory food, this is the book for you, because it's all in there, but it's also really fantastic that there's plant-based options, nut-free options, and the entire book is gluten, dairy, and refined sugar-free. So, got to give this a little bit of a pinch of salt. All right, just like so. Give that a little bit of a pinch. A little bit more chili flakes. Now, I want you to use the comment section and let me know what you think when you see it. But I got to say, I am loving what you see. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a heart if you love what you see. This here is my No-Fuss Nachos. Now, they are so good for you, so easy to make. They are literally, we whipped that together. I've done a little bit of prep, but not massively. Once you have cooked those corn chips off, which take no time at all and are super easy, this is the type of recipe that anyone can truly do. Now, a lot of people ask me when it comes to this book, they say, Luke, what is your favorite recipe? And I say, all right, I'm going to tell you, I have a favorite sweet recipe and I have a favorite savory recipe. So you've seen my favorite savory recipe tonight. That is these delicious, oh my God, look at that. Close up right there, my No-Fuss Nachos. Now I want you to use the comment section and let me know what you think right now. Use the comment section. Let me know what you think of these delicious No-Fuss Nachos. I can't wait to read your comments. And then I'll show you what my favorite sweet recipe is. So I don't know if anyone can guess, or you've already got the book and you know, use the comment section and predict it for me. But I tell you what, you will not want to go past this delicious lemon tart recipe. Check that out. So this is Lukey's lemon tart. It is so good, so simple. It's low carb, keto friendly, gluten free, dairy free, refined sugar free, and I gotta say, so easy to make, delicious, yum, the whole lot. So as you know, guys, Booktopia have copies of guilt-free snacks, so you can get it from Booktopia. They'll ship it to your front door. What I want to do is give you a very quick heads up of what chapters are in this book, so you know exactly what you're going to be getting. So This here is the introduction page, and that just happens to be me. But I wanted to make sure that your New Year resolutions, lunchboxes, health and fitness goals were absolutely covered. So we've got Quench It. Now, the Quench It chapter is all about delicious, hydrating drinks, smoothies, coffees, that type of stuff. The things to guzzle down your gob that are really quick, simple, and easy to make. Now, the chapter after Quench It is one of my favorites. It's called Roll It. Now, Roll It is all about my favorite bliss balls. So completely bliss out with my bliss balls. After the Roll It chapter, there is Work It. Now, Work It is my pre and post workout treats and snacks. So you've got pre-workout energy drinks, you've got post-workout protein drinks, and even my muscle monkey muffins, which are absolutely delicious. After Work It, we've got Dip It. Now, Dip It is all about chips, dips, and all of that. So you've got crisps, you've got fries, and a whole bunch of dips, perfect for entertaining or for meal prep at the start of the week. After Dip It, you've got Bake It. Now, Bake It is my bakery chapter. Muffins, brownies, loaves, cakes, anything that you would bake or get from a bakery, you'll find it in bakery. And the last two chapters, Fake It. So Fake It chapter is all about healthier versions of your favorite fast foods. So it's kind of like the fake version, but tastier and a whole lot better for you. And the last chapter is Indulge It. Now, Indulge It is that type of midnight snack recipe, self-sourcing chocolate puddings, really rich, decadent desserts. So we've had a question from Lindsay McCarthy. Is it okay to have this on the 10-week program? It looks delicious. Lindsay, talking my language. So Lindsay, you must be a part of my Luke Hines 10-week program, and absolutely. So all of the recipes in my book are completely friendly for any of my programs, whether it's the low carb keto or the more paleo approach. So don't worry about that. You can swap and change any of those recipes. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is actually my 13th cookbook. Now, I can't believe it. I don't know whether I'm really old or actually I'm writing the books really quickly. I'm not sure, but I'll just say let's go with writing the books really quickly. So for those of you who don't know, I got my start on My Kitchen Rules, and it was exactly 10 years ago, nearly to the day, where I started filming My Kitchen Rules, because I started filming that show in 2012, would you believe it? And it aired in 2013, my season. Now, we didn't win, but we came very close to winning. We were runners up. But I think the biggest thing that My Kitchen Rules taught me was that it was, if you celebrate real food and you don't try to trick it up and you don't try to do too much to it, well, then you absolutely can't go wrong. You really, really can't go wrong. And I think that's a lesson that I love passing on to anybody, is that if you want to transform your health, or you want to feel better, you want to start taking more control of how you look and feel, it all starts in the kitchen, and it starts in the kitchen with real food. Okay. So I know a lot of people can find it quite daunting when they try to transition to eating healthily. And the key is keep it simple. It doesn't have to be over the top. You saw tonight with this delicious recipe that it's not over the top. We created these elements from scratch. We didn't use anything from a packet. We made real food that tastes really, really fantastic. You absolutely can't go wrong when you just celebrate real produce in its natural state. Now, another question I get asked a lot is, should I be counting calories when it comes to, why don't you put your calories in your book? Do your recipes come with the calorie count? And the reason that I don't do that for my particular recipes is because I want you guys to become what's called intuitive eaters. Now, I'm not sure if anyone's heard that term before, but if you're an intuitive eater, essentially what you're doing is you're trying to eat when you're genuinely hungry and stop when you're full, when you've had enough. Now, I know that's easier said than done, but if you can remove any emotional attachments to food, or food just because you're bored, well, the awesome part is that when you remove those attachments and you just tune into your body and you become intuitive about your food, then you only eat what you need and you don't overdo it, okay? And the easiest way to slowly tap into that and become an intuitive eater is to stick with real food. So avoid things that are overly processed and refined or packaged, and go with as many real food options as possible, okay? So I think you all get to see the dish one more time, just like that. I don't want them to slide onto my laptop. Can you imagine I tilted it just too far and we ended up with a keyboard full of nachos. That wouldn't be ideal, but
I think people would love to eat it, Luke. They would love it. You're feeding us now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as much as I would love to feed you all, you know what's going to happen when we finish tonight's live. I've got a date with destiny right here. Right here.
That's a perfect segue into us finding out, Luke. Can you tell us how you're planning to live guilt-free this year?
Yeah, I'm going to be kinder to myself. If I want to rest, I'm going to rest and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. But most importantly, if I feel like I need to say no to protect my peace, to protect my energy, to protect my mental health, I'm going to say no. But I'm going to say it confidently and I'm not going to regret it, because sometimes saying no is the most powerful thing you can do for your inner peace, and it'll create the space to create wonderful things in the world around you.
Fabulous. Definitely a great New Year's resolution if I've ever heard one myself. I know next week is actually traditionally like the quitters week. I think the 19th is roughly when a lot of those ambitions about the new year do slide down the wayside. But as Luke's mentioned throughout tonight's cooking demo, it's all about motivation. It's all about your mindset. And there's a lot of good learnings I've had from reading your wonderful latest cookbook in the whole series of all the cookbooks you've made so far. This is definitely my favorite. So congratulations again to all of our viewers who did participate. We really appreciate and love sharing and seeing all your comments. We will go through them very, very shortly. And thank you for the love you have shown us, and your inspiring comments are going to keep us motivated, I'm sure, in the next little bit. So thank you again. If you had a go at making this recipe or any of Luke's in general, let us know in the comments or tag Booktopia and Luke Hines. We'd love to see it. Thank you again, Luke, for tonight, for your time. It was great to be shown all the little steps and little tips and tricks to make No-Fuss Nachos be #1. If you're hungry like me and want to try Luke's other recipes, you can order your very own copy of Guilt-Free Snacks along with all the other cookbooks now on booktopia.com.au. There is a link in the description of this post, so do go and check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night. Happy cooking.
Happy cooking, happy reading. Bye.